Hey guys, in the fast lane here. In this video, I'm going to be answering questions about the big bore kit scooters for my followers and viewers. HTG004 says, I got the 100cc big bore kit, but can't get the cylinder to go inside the bottom end of the engine to sit flush. How come it doesn't sit flush? I would say that the cylinder could be running too deep. If it's running too deep from maybe a bad casting, it's not going to go all the way down. Another thing would be that the brass rivets in the head gasket are sticking out too tall and not allowing it to sit flush. And yeah, just other than that, I would just say either defective cylinder head or bad gasket. Josie Escord de Rose Santana says, I work at Uber Eats on my Solana 49cc. If I don't do 100cc, would it hurt, or if I do 100cc, would it hurt my motor by running it for many hours without stopping? I would say you'll be all right. A 100cc kit is actually only like an 80 or 88cc. It's like it goes from like 39 millimeter cylinder to like 50 millimeter. It's not crazy on the engine block, so I'd say you'd be all right as long as you use the fan shroud that comes with the unit. The original motor, you want to use that fan shroud. Keeps the engine cool at idle. Me, AUSA 8039 says, thank you for the video. I have a question. I have a Lance Cali Classic 50cc. How could I change it to 100cc? Thank you. Those are the same as the GY6 139 QMB engines, so the kits are pretty much the same. You can, I'll have a link to the kits in the description. You can go ahead and purchase it there if you'd like. Shannon McLeish 31. I want to change my piston in the scooter bike to a bigger one, but how much speed you got? You'll get, with my personal experience, when I did my big bore kit, and I did the full kit, I did upgraded the carburetor, put 7-gram roller weights on there. I went from about 30 mile per hour to about 56, 57 mile per hour. So that's pretty much what you could get to. It's 8123. Is it true adding a big bore kit to upgrade from 50cc to 100cc can crack your engine block and or cylinder? I mean, it just depends on how big the big bore kit is, but they usually only go up to about 88 to 100cc, roughly there. You're really not going to run into any problems. It should be fine. I ran mine probably like 9 years ago and haven't had a single issue with it. I think you'll be all right. EJ 1853 question. Is it possible to swap a stock 200cc engine with a 90cc engine? I am a beginner to scooter. I wanted to start to a lower phase before going with a higher speed. If it's possible, where can I buy a 90cc engine from Honda or Kawasaki? I hope that someone could direct me to the right direction. Thanks in advance. It's probably just cheaper to buy a 90cc scooter already done if you want to downgrade, because a lot of times these motors aren't going to bolt up, and they come with the engine and the transmission together, and there's really no bolt up pattern. It'll stick out further, and you'll probably end up spending a lot more money than just buying a smaller cc bike. Tyler Son 9696. Can you post a link on the parts, please? Yes, I'll have links to all the parts that I'm talking about in this video. I'll put it in the description and possibly the comments. Oliver Brodenson. I have 100cc on my moped, but I can't get it over 30 to 35 mile per hour, 60 kilomile. What do I do? I would say upgrade the carb in the main jet. I'll have a link to the upgraded carb that I used on my 50cc that got me up to about 56, 57 mile per hour. It came with a bigger jet. Brian Brian Clancy, 8139. Can I get a list of tools to have to work on scooter? Yes, I'll put the links in the description to the tools that I use. Anthony Rizzo, 5973. When I pulled my 50cc off mine, it had a total of 6 guides or shims. Should I install them just like yours for my 100cc big bore kit? Is that just how the 50cc is? Yeah, you definitely want to use, they're called dowel pins, and they go into the cylinder head so that you can align it with the head gasket. If you don't, you can get away with 2 of them as long as the head gasket's square. But if you only put one of them in there, the head gasket's going to move, and when you put it down, possibly it's not going to be sealed right. You're going to have leaks. Always a good idea to use those dowel pins for sure. Dennis 5874. When you thread your timing chain, can you use a magnet? Yeah, sure. You can get a telescoping magnet pen. Basically pulls out, stick it down in there, pull the chain up. That would make it a lot easier. I'll put a link to that in the description too. Thomas Robert Faves, 7069. I'm installing a 100cc big bore kit. Why is there a greater clearance between the valve adjustment screw and the plate on the bottom of the valve? There wasn't any issues with the intake, but on the exhaust side, I don't have enough threads on the screw to tighten the lock nut. I would say that you have the wrong rocker arms. They come in 64 millimeter and 69 millimeter. You need to figure out which ones you need by measuring the valve. You'll measure the end of the valve and the top of the valve, and that'll tell you how many millimeters you need. So the valve will be 64 millimeter or 69 millimeter. The Prodigy 4986 says, I know this is an old video, but did you have to change your crankcase? No, I didn't change my crankcase. I didn't even change the oil pump that came with it. I left the stock oil pump, stock crankcase, and that was pretty much it. And it's ran fine ever since. User YI2UV says, what happened with the cooling shroud? I originally didn't put the cooling shroud on, but after the video, I put it back on, and I didn't notice really any difference. I'm sure the temperature went down, but it would be a good idea to use the fan shroud. Just like a vehicle with a radiator fan shroud, it helps direct the air to that radiator, just like this one helps direct the air to the cylinder head and block. Mike Oslong. Great vid, man. Would that kit work on the most 50cc scooters? Also, is it necessary to change jets and rollers? Yes, it works with pretty much all 139 QMB engines. And you were asking about jets and rollers? Yes. I personally run 7-gram rollers. I found there's a happy medium. If you get too heavy of a roller, you'll get great takeoff, but you'll lose top end. If you use too light of a roller, you'll take off quick, but you'll lose bottom end where you won't take off quick torque, and you'll have high RPM and you can go a little faster. So you got to find right in the middle. As for the jets, yes, absolutely. I'll put a link to the carburetor that I use with my 50cc kit to get myself up to 56, 57 mile per hour. They come with upgraded jets in them. Another thing that I would like to point out is you want to upgrade the intake neck. Now this intake neck is bigger than the original 50cc, so you can't put the carburetor on unless you upgrade the intake neck. I'll have that in the description as well. Tahari, or Tahir 5534, I'm from Italy. I have a KSR Pandora 50cc 2019. I want to upgrade to a 80 to 100. Is it possible with this scooter? If it's possible, then explain to me that I have to only a cylinder and piston or have to change the carburetor. Then tell me the price, 80cc to 100cc cylinder and piston. Thanks. Yes, that one, I believe it's a QJ139 QMB, and those appear to be the same as the 139 QMB, just different country. So I would say everything that I'm talking about in this video with the big bore kits and stuff, then you're going to be able to use it in this video. That'll give you the price. Vince Hoffman 179. Hey, I've got a question about the 100cc kit. I found one without all the extra accessories like exhaust, muffler, gasket, and most important, cylinder head. My question is, do I need a specific 100cc head, or is the standard head also going to work? No, the stock head is about 39 millimeter, and then for the piston, the cylinder itself, and then the aftermarket one, the big bore kit, is about 50 millimeter. So they're completely different, and you'll have to get a whole new kit. And whether you want the exhaust or not, that's up to you. But the other parts, such as the rocker arm, the piston, the rings, uh, all that stuff, the cam, that needs to be changed out. That comes in the kit, though. Todd Rod 4262. Where can I find just the rocker arms? I'll put a link in the description for the rocker arms. You want to get either a 64 millimeter or 69 millimeter, depending on how long your valves are. Mr. Silly Pop Tart. Mr. Silly Pop Tart. I did the big bore kit and performance CVT, but now when I give more than half throttle, the bike bogs out. Do I need bigger jets in my carb? I would say yes. I would even upgrade the carburetor itself. The carburetor that I upgraded to, which I'll put in the links or the description, it has a 105 main jet, and I found that to be the perfect main jet. I tested a bunch of them, and that was the one that worked the best. KBM Stank says, I know this was 9 years ago. I don't know if you still have this YouTube, but I bought the same kit, put it on my bike. It isn't starting, and I need help ASAP. Someone told me it could be out of time because I didn't do something right. It turns over, and you can hear the exhaust. If you can help me in any way. Yeah, if you didn't do the timing right, it's not going to fire. First thing to do is check to see if you have spark. Pull the spark plug, touch it to the cylinder head, and crank it with it plugged into the coil pack, the spark plug wire. If it fires, you see some spark, you know you have spark and the CDI is working. If you got to check for fuel, if you have spark and fuel, then chances are it's out of time. Or it could be flooded if you have too big of a main jet on there. It could be too much, but chances are you're just out of time. Bike Life PW1CZ. I forgot to put guides and it runs, but what are the guides for? Because I put like 2 on the wrong spot. If you put 2, you can get away with it as long as like one is here and here, or one is the in front, kind of like an X, then you shouldn't have a problem. All those are for is squaring up the head gasket and aligning the head. 2 can align the head and the head gasket. So you could get away with that, but 4 really keeps it just perfectly square. Just to keep everything aligned. Kyle Korfman, IO1ZR says, if I get a kit without a camshaft and buy an 89 cam on the side, can I use the existing cam chain? My scooter literally has 5 hours on it. Just wanted to put a kit on it because it's gutless. Yeah, you can use the same chain as long as it has the same sprocket on it. There's no issue with that. Same length, everything. Yeah, you can use it. I use the same chain on my bike. User YF8 says, I need help. I installed my 100cc big bore kit, exhaust, and the new carb. Removed the factory air filter and placed the most common scent with the kit. I used the original spark plug because my scooter is only a few months old. I can't go more than 15 miles an hour. It's putting. I can't hit my throttle without that happening. What did I do wrong? I hope someone sees this soon. I go to work today at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I would say you need to upgrade the main jet. If it's not getting enough fuel, it can lean out, can run lean, and it'll definitely detonate. It can melt your piston that. So upgrade the main jet. I would upgrade the carburetor, and that'll come with an upgraded main jet. Robert Bell, 1804, says, could I do this on my 50cc moped big bore kit? What would it do? Get more speed? As long as you have the 139 QMB engine, that's the big bore kit that we're talking about right now. Yeah, you can. It'll, like I said, it could go from 30 to like almost 60 mile per hour. It's possible. VLUGGE 1787 says, hi man, What is the metal triangle thing? I have it too, but don't know where to mount it. That would be the oil pump. And I'm pretty sure that they're not high volume oil pumps that come with the kit. They're pretty much just the same oil pump that's originally on the scooter. I could be wrong, but I didn't change mine out and I haven't had a problem for like 9 years. So you can just take that with a grain of salt. But those are oil pump. That's an oil pump. Okay, that's it for today. If you have any questions about the scooter big bore kits, go ahead, leave a comment down below, and I may just answer it in the next video.